Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Homesteading Off the Grid and another morning ramble. I am severely suffering from the side effects of my wife's infectious laughter. You guys point out in the comment section sometimes of some of the videos we make where we're goofballs, like our hikes and recently with bringing in firewood, and even her cooking videos about how when you hear her laugh, it's contagious, it's infectious. You guys have no clue what it's like living with her, because once she starts going and she gets me going and then we start being goofballs and we make these videos early in the morning, it lasts all day. And I literally pulled a stomach muscle yesterday laughing so hard because of her laugh and just being goofballs. So I was going to talk to you about that today, and just how that kind of snowballed onto itself yesterday, and I will talk to you about that. But I was coming up here to where I do these morning rambles, and we have this big, ginormous, beautiful white oak tree here that's a couple 100 years old at least, and I noticed this ginormous limb broke off of it. And it kind of reminded me of something that I felt like talking to you about because of a movie I watched last night, about an amazing man from New Zealand, a Kiwi from down under, who did something so amazing at such an old age with a tool that was so old. And what he did was so amazing that no one has been able to outdo this, this thing he did for more than 50 years. And I thought, you know what? These two things really go together, because I hope I never get too old, like this Kiwi guy, to do the things I enjoy. And the biggest thing is to suffer from the side effects. One of the biggest things, suffering from the side effects of my wife's infectious laughter. So we're going to tie them together because of this tree. It's Crazy Lake at it again. So I just want to show you this tree limb from a different angle. Here you see is what we call our campground. This is our picnic area of our homestead. Getting ready to sit down there and talk to myself for 18 minutes. And you, those of you gracious enough to be here to join me. But here's our trail where we go back down. And this is usually clear, but it is now completely blocked by this ginormous white oak limb. I'm gonna have to get in here with a chainsaw here when the rain stops. But guys, I mean, you look for the good and the bad. We actually started calling this tree the giving tree. Our first winter here 2 years ago, we ran out of firewood, and it was crazy. It's like that law of attraction thing. I kept looking up here at this tree, and I told Dearly, my beautiful bride, I said, you know what, if that tree would just happen to shed one of its limbs, we'd have enough firewood to get through the rest of the winter, because we only had a couple weeks left of really cold weather. And would you believe, within hours, I mean, it wasn't even a day, it shed one of its limbs. And it looks like it's just done it again. This is big. I don't know if the camera's doing this justice. Oh man, it broke that locust. That's unfortunate. That locust was doing really good. But you know what? Locusts are very resilient. They're very hardy. And that locust will just start sprouting new growth from here, and it'll come back thicker and prettier than it was anyway. And there's some more firewood right there. Locust burns very, very good, as you know. It's a nice hardwood that burns slow and hot. So, all right. Okay, so that infectious laughter from my wife. And guys, this channel's like yin and yang, isn't it? I sit up here and talk about all these deep philosophical things I've learned from fighting in wars and being around toxic people, and having to learn how to set boundaries in order to stay alive, literally, as my son would say. That's what the second graders, I guess, are saying. Literally, they say that all the time. And in the next video, you watch me and my wife's being goofballs, acting like dorks, with very poor acting. Somebody commented that they think bad acting is hilarious. Guys, that's the best I can do. So, but we're glad that you think that's hilarious, because that is contagious, isn't it? That infectious laugh, especially when you hear it coming from my beautiful bride. And we were doing that yesterday all day long, like in that cooking video where she used the leftover fried chicken and I was making faces at her, and she didn't know that until we watched the video. And you can tell that by watching the video where she's looking over. She kind of suspects something, because I guess she heard me opening my mouth or something. And her reaction, which of course was just hysterical laughter when she did see that, when we saw the video, once it had been uploaded to YouTube, made me laugh so hard I literally, as my second grade son would say, I think I tore a muscle in my stomach, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's the first time I've ever literally had a belly buster laugh. I mean, it could be that I just like ripped loose some lactic acid. The day before, I did 3 sets of 25 4-count flutter kicks, so it's like I did 300 of these flutter kick things, you know, because I'm trying to get back in shape. So maybe it's just I ripped apart some lactic acid. I keep feeling around, you know, I'm going to be ginger with it. But so this was early in the day, and so this good mood and this laughter, we kept pranking each other throughout the day. And you've probably heard of the law of attraction. I actually spoke about it once in one of our videos, and this was a long time ago, and I made that video with that $3 camera I got from the thrift store when Dearly was gone somewhere. I think she was at Virginia Beach with our friends, with our friend Lori, and they went down there for spring break, and I stayed here to get some work done around the homestead, and plus I was working at the post office at the time. By the way, and that's part of the story too, I got my last paycheck. Thank you, Debbie, for bringing it out, and thank you, Karen, for getting it. Karen, she didn't used to be I misspoke. I said Karen used to be the union president. She used to be the union's shop steward there at the post office in Charlottesville. But she wrote me a little note. She said that she's glad she saw me talking about this. Let's see, cover my name. I don't care about the amount. I mean, guys, and this is just how that, the law of attraction, the side effects of infectious laughter, good moods, good positivity, throw positivity out there into the universe. Talk about how good the things in your life are, things that are going good. Protect yourself from the toxic people who just want to talk about the bad, who only just not want to point out the bad in you, but want to talk about how miserable they are. Let them be miserable alone. Don't be that company that misery loves. Stay away from them. Get away from them. Don't respond to them if you see them on our channel. We get rid of those people. Don't waste your efforts. If you see somebody that says something positive, focus on them. Don't give these trolls attention, and certainly don't do it in real life. Somebody commented this morning, they said they're done with the Mr. J's, the Bobs, and the Takers. The gates closed on these people because they love their family too much. They're not carrying these toxic people's dead weight for them anymore. This was a lesson they learned. That was put quite well. So anyway, I was expecting $600, and my friend Debbie brings me a check for $1,065.35. So I mean, and somebody said, what are you going to do? We didn't expect to get this at all anyway. We knew that the post office, we felt the post office was going to kind of dirtbag me on this last check, which they tried for 2 months. But my friend Karen, who was like a big sister to me there, saw the video. And again, thank you, Karen, for getting this. She left a little note on it and said it was in this particular supervisor's desk, and that the supervisor said that, oh, I thought I mailed it out 2 months ago. Yeah, right. Do you believe that? I actually do, because I know the supervisor, and I'm not saying their name, and I'm not saying he or she, so because they're a good person, just like all the other supervisors there. I actually like them, and when I emailed Debbie last night and thanked her, I told her I missed my coworkers there at the post office because they made me feel accepted, and I just haven't felt that in a lot of places. You could probably tell. If you watch these videos, you can probably tell I'm not really accepted in a whole lot of places. But the people there at the post office in Charlottesville, Virginia were so wonderful. I felt accepted there. If it hadn't been for that abusive management, I would probably still be there. Even though things turn around for us here, and I don't have to have a job at this point in time to take care of my family because, well, I mean, my writing, these other things we've got going on are doing good enough. But I enjoyed the people I worked with so much at the Charlottesville post office, I would still be there regardless. That's how great these people are, and even the supervisors. Now with management, again, that abusive management. And you know what's crazy, guys? I made that video where I kind of exposed the abuse that was going on there, and I did it for the Debbies and the Karens and these people that are still back there because they're such wonderful people. They deserved somebody. They deserve to have somebody who kind of had a voice to kind of come in and say, hey, here's what's going on. And so I did that a couple of months ago, and for some time now, I mean, that video, a lot of people watch it. It's long. It's 37 minutes long. It's called, because I changed the name a couple of times. It's called Why I Quit My Job at the Post Office, USPS, and why you don't receive your Amazon packages on time. Maybe that's why it's getting so many views now. but it got, maybe, I don't know, 15, 20,000 views, and it kind of dropped into obscurity because time had passed. But here for the last couple of weeks, like 850 people a day have been watching that video, and we're not pumping it out on any of the other social media networks like Facebook or any of that stuff. So it makes me wonder, where are these people coming from watching this? Is it because I put in there on the title why you're not receiving your Amazon packages on time? Is it the common public? People, maybe a lot of people thought, well, I didn't work at the post office, this doesn't apply to me. But maybe people are Googling, why aren't I receiving, because of the lives. I tell that in the video too. You're home all day, you're waiting on that Amazon package because you got the email saying it was coming today. So you're home all day, and then at 7:54 p.m. you get an email that says your package couldn't be delivered because of no access, and you don't know what the heck that means. Well, I explained that in that video, what that means and why that happens. Maybe that's why so many people are seeing it. But I'm glad so many people are watching it because of the Karens, because of the Debbies, and so many other people down there that are wonderful people who needed to have their story told. So what's that have to do with infectious laughter? Guys, we were just throwing happiness, joy, positivity out there, which is something we really try to focus on here. And it just kept getting thrown back at us from the universe. Debbie threw that check in my mailbox. It was $500 or $600 more than I expected it would be. And now what I mentioned, the kiwi and this old tree. Guys, I ended up watching one of the best movies last night I've never seen. Dearly and I like to watch movies, and we love it when we can find a movie that's appropriate for our son to watch too, like PG rated. And this movie, I believe it was called The World's Fastest Indian, and that's in regards to the Indian Scout motorcycle. And it kind of portrayed the story of Burt Monroe. What an amazing story. And I think about the way I laugh at my wife because she's such a goofball and her laughter is so infectious. And I know there's an age difference, like 14 years. Sometimes the trolls will say I'm 50 and she's 20. How disgusting. No, I'm 44 and she's 30. Okay. But she sometimes says, I hope when you're 60 it's still like this. And I say, well, gosh, I hope so too, and I believe it will be, as long as we just keep doing what we're doing, and as long as I continue to stay fit, and I don't eat the things you eat. I lift with my legs instead of my back like you. She's really getting away with a lot of stuff because of her youth right now, and I'm trying to talk to her, but of course, well, when I was 30 and older people tried to talk to me, I didn't listen to them either, so it's to be expected. But as long as I continue to exercise, stay drug-free, alcohol-free, tobacco product-free, matrix-free, cable television-free, all the system-free, by the system, you guys, we've talked about that enough before. But this guy inspired me, this Burt Monroe. He was, he lived in a cinder block shed, and it looked like somebody else's backyard. He had this old motorcycle that was 47 years old when he finally did this. He was living in New Zealand, little to no money. It was his life's dream to come to the United States and go out to the Great Salt Flats in Utah and just see how fast he could make this motorcycle go there at Bonneville Speedway during Speed Week. So it was a dream that took him over 25 years to achieve. He finally got friends to throw. He didn't ask. People they knew what he wanted to do. They were throwing money at him. They gave him enough to get to America. He gets to America, he's broke already, but he found wonderful, kind-hearted people along the way who helped get him towards his dream. They were inspired by this old man who just would not give up. He would not give up. He gets to Bonneville, and I don't want to be giving you all these spoilers. If you want to watch this movie, you better stop the video now and then come back and watch the rest after you've seen the movie. But even once he gets to Bonneville, he had no clue you had to pre-register. He's like a naive, like a schoolboy, even though he was 67 years old. But people liked him, and so they kind of took him under their wing. They were concerned about his safety because his bike didn't have any brakes. It didn't have a parachute. He didn't have a speed suit. None of this stuff. They weren't going to let him run, but they finally said to themselves, this guy really wants this. And he was dying. He was very sick. He was sick. He was suffering from some health problems. And they kind of took the attitude, you know what, let's grant this, which might be the last wish of a potentially dying old man. So they let him take a test run to make sure he was going to be safe. And once they saw that, they felt semi-confident that he could do this without killing himself. They let him run. And guys, he broke the land speed world record for any engine under 1,000 cc's. He averaged a speed, I think it was 187.5 miles per hour for 6 or 7 miles, with a top speed of 201 miles an hour. He did this at 67 years old on a motorcycle that was 47 years old. And that record still stands today. This was 1967. So that record is over 50 years old. It's never been broken. Burt Monroe, because I Googled him afterward, his story was so amazing and inspiring. He died in 1978. I would have been 4 or 5 years old. I was born at the very tail end of 1973. But to this day, that record stands. And this guy didn't know. He was a heck of a mechanic, and you can see it in the movie. I mean, he understood things that most mechanics trained at the best vocational colleges in the world didn't know. And it's just something he did tinkering with his whole life. He learned from doing, not from attending the university. But it was a very amazing, inspiring movie. And it all does tie together, because I'm thinking about the side effects of my wife's infectious laughter. You know, my stomach hurts. I'm rubbing it. I'm stretching it, trying to work it out. And I'm going to get my exercises in today. But when you throw good, positive energy out there into the universe so often just throws it back at you. You know, if there's somebody out there getting in your way, trying to stop your positiveness with their negativism, don't carry that dead weight. Don't allow it in your life. Nip it in the bud as soon as you see it. Get rid of it. Don't return any attention whatsoever. Don't give them that luxury. Focus on the person in your life that gives you that infectious laughter. And guys, you're never too old to get it. You're never too old. You know, I'll see people in the comment section, they say, oh, you guys remind me of me and my husband, or me and my wife, or us. We used to laugh. Like, what's this used to stuff? What's this used to stuff, people? Get rid of those words used to. And the next time you comment and say, you know what? We're so happy, my husband and I, or my wife and I, that we see you guys laughing at Goofy like this. We started doing it again too. We do that too. That's what we want to see. So I've kept you long enough. I don't know if this made any more sense than any of my other morning rambles. Maybe you got something out of it. Looks like I got some more free firewood from my giving tree. I'm going to go down there, and as much as it's probably going to hurt, because my stomach muscle is still sore, I'm going to go down there in my house. My little boy's already off to school, but I'm going to go down there with my beautiful bride and suffer the extreme side effects of her infectious laughter. I hope each and every one of you have a wonderful day. Here's a parting shot of the homestead. This is one of 17 days this year in which it's not been raining, so I can come up here and give you this. We'll see you for more next time from here at Homesteading Off the Grid.